Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Purple Luna Rose Love and Astrology Night. Tonight, we're going to go over all of the December major astrology transits and hot dates. I will read for the collective, and then I will offer some mini readings at the end. So, guys, this is our first scheduled live back in a little over a month, I think it is. We haven't been here since we did November's astrology. So I just want to say thank you for everybody being so patient while I took my time off. I definitely needed it, and I got to catch up on some much needed appointments, which I attended all of them. Came back with all great reviews, great things said. So no worries there. I'm super glad that I got the opportunity to do that. And please remember, we are multi streaming. So we are on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch all at the same time. All right, I'm going to get over to the December transits and we're going to go over those first. And like I said, we'll do a collective reading after that just to see where everyone's energy is or has been, right? All right, guys. So I didn't go through day by day, but I did pull out the major transits, the ones that are going to be the most important, and of course, the hot dates. Hot dates are going to be really specific for those of us on this very specific type of spiritual awakening journey. So make sure to grab your calendars and circle the dates, take notes, grab water, get comfortable. There are several of them in the month of December. All right. I'm just checking to make sure everything is looking okay. All right, I'm going to get started. So the first one I have right out of the gate with the fireworks because December 4th is our full moon in Gemini. Full moon in Gemini energy is going to be a wave of mental clarity and communicative flow. Insights and truths will come to light through conversations and synchronicities. I feel like everybody's going to see the synchronicities pretty big with this Gemini full moon. The challenge with this full moon could definitely be that you could feel scattered with this energy or like you're caught in a loop of overthinking, unable to land on a single truth per se. So, the best way to harvest this energy is going to be to share your ideas, listen deeply to others. You want to weave together different perspectives to find a higher vibration. That is the goal, right? So, you want to let your mind and heart collaborate. All right, so my new formula as we start going back through these monthly astrology transits and even the weekly cosmic guides, I'll stop stuttering over my words eventually. They're not going to include shadow journal prompts. So, for those of you that are working on your shadow work, I think this will be really helpful. But also for those of you that are just new to astrology and learning about astrology, I feel like the shadow prompts could really help explain what the astrology transits mean and even how impactful they are, like how much they're going to, um, impact you personally. All right, so the one I have for the December 4th full moon in Gemini, what story or belief are you ready to release now that you have this clear truth? So now that the clear truth has been revealed with the Gemini full moon, what story or belief are you ready to release? All right, moving right along to December 10th. December 10th, we have Neptune stationing direct. So Neptune has been retrograde, started in Aries, worked its way into Pisces, and now we're going direct with Neptune. This energy is going to feel like the veil between the mundane and the spiritual world thins. So your intuition, dreams, and creative inspiration can begin to flow with really strong, renewed clarity. The challenge with Neptune going direct on December 10th is you could feel like the recent fog that you've been experiencing could feel you have you feeling disoriented or unsure of what's real. And this could make it hard to trust your inner guidance again. I feel like that's what I'm experiencing right in this moment. All right, so the best way to deal with this energy is going to be to lean into your creative and spiritual practices. Pay attention to your dreams and the subtle whispers of your soul and act on the gentle nudges that you receive. All right, so ready for the shadow prompt? Here's the shadow prompt, journal prompt for December 10th, Neptune stationing direct. Where have you been preferring a beautiful illusion over a humbling truth? And what are you now ready to see with compassionate eyes? I'm going to say that again. Where have you been preferring a beautiful illusion over a humbling truth? And what are you now ready to see with compassionate eyes? That should be the lesson. You should be able to answer that shadow journal prompt now that Neptune goes direct in Pisces on December 10th. All right, moving right along. December 11th, we have Mercury entering Sagittarius. Uh, so this energy, we did this back and forth with Sagittarius and Scorpio while Mercury was retrograde. And I'm live streaming, guys. It is November 25th. So currently, Mercury is still retrograde. And it's currently in Scorpio. Again, the back and forth. It was direct in Scorpio. It moved into Sagittarius. It went retrograde in Sagittarius. It moved back into Scorpio. That's where we're at now. On December 11th, Mercury is going to go back into Sagittarius, and this is going to feel like mind expansion. You're going to feel like you want to seek the bigger picture of all truths. Communication can definitely become more optimistic, honest, and forward looking. Right now, we're experiencing the third Mercury retrograde. Remember, guys, we normally have three, and sometimes we have four in a year. I do feel like as I'm learning this astrology, that it feels like each one is getting a little bit more challenging, right? But each Mercury retrograde is teaching us, it's helping us get through some type of communicative or clarity trigger that we're experiencing, right? So each retrograde throughout the year seems like it gets a little bit tougher, but when you get through that lesson, it's like something you won't have to experience again, something you won't have to learn again, right? So for I don't know about you guys, but for me, Mercury in Sagittarius was great the moment it moved into Sagittarius, and then it was like retrograde immediately back into Scorpio, and Mercury in Scorpio was definitely very challenging for me, to say the least. But yeah, so on the 11th, moving forward, back into Sagittarius, I feel like it's that more positive. Sagittarius is just more like happy go lucky type of energy. So I just feel like the words are going to flow a lot easier when Mercury moves back into Sagittarius. Now, there could be some challenges with this energy, like becoming over opinionated about your newfound perspectives or dismissing more complex views as unimportant. Keep that in mind. The best way to harvest this energy, Mercury into Sagittarius, is going to be exploring new subjects, planning new adventures, having conversations that expand your horizons. Speak your authentic truth with compassion, clarity, and understanding. All right, so here's my shadow prompt for December 11th, Mercury entering Sagittarius. Where can you notice a tendency to be intellectually arrogant? And how can you remain open and curious while standing in your truth? I'll read it one more time. Where can you notice a tendency to be intellectually arrogant, know it all, right? And how can you remain open and curious while standing in your truth? That should be what this last Mercury retrograde has taught us. All right, moving forward, we have December 15th. December 15th, Mars is going to enter Capricorn. So the energy here is very powerful, grounded surge of very focused energy. It's about taking purposeful, disciplined action towards your long term soul mission. Not what you want, long-term soul mission. Mars entering Capricorn. It's definitely this energy of time to get to work. This is mid-month, so December 15th. The challenge here could be becoming overly rigid or using practicality as an excuse for inaction, leading to frustration or even cold ambition. The best way to work with this energy is going to be to take one concrete, strategic step towards your meaningful goal. Build a sustainable structure for your dreams and channel your willpower with integrity. Shadow prompt for Mars entering Capricorn on December 15th. Where are you using realism or practicality to mask a fear of failure? And what is one brave, disciplined step that you can take anyway? I feel like Mars moving into Capricorn may be a little bit more challenging than we're probably going to hear a lot of other astrologers speak on. I think that people are going to believe that Mars moving into Capricorn is I get to go do what I want. And I don't think that people are understanding. Capricorn doesn't really do what it wants. I mean, it does, but it has to take the hard way or the hard route or the long way, or it has to learn the hard way. And that's what Mars and Capricorn is, learning the hard way. So keep that in mind, mid-month, mid-December. All right, moving along. December 19th, we're going to have new moon in Sagittarius. This is going to be wonderful energy. It's a sacred moment to plant seeds for your soul's future journey. So set intentions for growth, freedom, and wisdom that you wish to embody. Challenge with the new moon in Sagittarius could be setting intentions that are too vague or fear based, or being afraid to truly aim for the thing that you want in life. So, the best way to work with this energy is envision from your heart. What does your soul yearn to learn, experience, and become? And then this is going to be really important. Write it down. Next, really important thing, speak it out loud. And lastly, release it to the universe. Don't ask all the questions like how, when, where, because that's when you start to make everything complicated, confusing, and you really restrict and limit the possibilities. All right, shadow prompt for December 19th, new moon in Sagittarius. What self imposed limitation or story about your own potential is ready to be released to make space for the new vision? What self imposed limitation or story about your own potential is ready to be released to make space for this new vision? December 19th, new moon in Sagittarius. Tell me in the chat, guys, how are you guys liking the shadow prompt? I see everybody coming in. Welcome, ladies. Welcome, welcome. Tell me what you think about the journal shadow prompts. If you're working on the shadow work, it's great, right? But for those of you that maybe haven't worked, you haven't started. I feel like once you start shadow work, it never stops. So you're either doing it or you're not. Um, but even if you're not, I feel like it kind of helps describe the energies, the astrology, the transit, so you understand like the purpose of the transit, what it is that is happening, what it is that you're learning, that you're taking in, right? All right, so we're getting to the end here, December 21st. We have the sun entering Capricorn, and this is also winter solstice. I actually am offering a solstice reading tonight, free 3-card reading. Well, did not tell me that I didn't hit the button? Of course not. Oh, Rosa, Rosa. So on the video that has just now started, you guys might notice that I'm offering a free 3-card solstice reading for everyone tonight. All right, moving along. December 24th. This is actually, my mom's in heaven now, but she was a Capricorn. Her birthday was on the 24th, Christmas Eve. So important day for me, but I find it really interesting that on December 24th, Venus is also entering Capricorn. So this energy is love deepening into lasting devotion. The energy values loyalty, integrity, and building something beautiful and enduring in relationships and creativity. The challenge here with this energy, Venus entering Capricorn, could be confusing love with obligation or becoming so focused on the structure of a relationship that you forget the spontaneous joy within it. The best way to work with this energy is going to be to show your love through reliable, consistent action. Make commitments that honor your heart. Invest in relationships and creative projects that have deep, lasting value. All right, so shadow prompt for December 24th, Venus entering Capricorn. Where have you been confusing security for love or valuing the container more than the connection that it holds? I'll read it again. Where have you been confusing security for love or valuing the container more than the connection that it holds? All right, guys, those are going to be your major transits and hot dates for the month of December. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was helpful. And I honestly hope that the shadow work questions help you understand the transit itself, like the purpose of the transit, right? All right, let me get to the collective. So I feel that we're doing astrology night. So I pulled out the Black Moon Oracle. And then, just because the energies are a little challenging and could feel a little heavy right now, Ten of Wands on the bottom. I also pulled out Love, the Power of Love Oracle. Those were gifted to me by Miss L. So sometimes I like to pull out certain cards and try to call her in, right? How's it doing? How's it going over there, Vanessa, on Facebook? Is it quiet? I mean, we've been quiet and kind of randomly live streaming for a month. So I imagine, you know, it might be a little slow at the beginning. It probably would have helped if I, played the video. Oh, mercy. I work so hard and long on these videos, and then I forget to hit the play button, or I forget to load it all together. Yes, I imagine it will be. But I did share out today, and I didn't have any issue sharing out. Now, mind you, I haven't shared out to these groups over there in 28 days. So it might take us a little bit to see some movement. I kind of like it when it's just us, though, right? All right, collective energy. We have the part of fortune increase coming out. I knew that card was going to come out for the masculine. It always has to make everything so complicated. Um, so the part of fortune card out of it's actually a section in your birth chart, but in the Black Moon Oracle, it's representing some type of benefit, some type of increase. Something's growing, getting bigger, more. It definitely could have something to do with abundance. Okay, so it's the mathematical point in your chart that indicates an area of life where a person can find success, happiness, and abundance. Okay, so I've been using the part of fortune in the charts to look at where people find luck. We recently just did a music and tarot live not too long ago. It had to be like the last live or maybe the live before that, where I use the part of fortune on your chart to do like where will you find luck, or where does luck come easily for you. So that's normally what I use it for when I'm studying it on your chart. But definitely could show you like where you'll be super lucky, but also super successful, right? So for the divine masculine, I feel like the focus right now. some energy of like trying to get ahead. Definitely this energy of chasing success. Could be manifesting success, especially if they're focused on the astrology, which is actually kind of rare for the masculine energy. All right, lunar eclipse change comes out. So we don't have any eclipses this month. I was talking to the moderator ladies earlier, and I accidentally said we're going to talk about eclipses. We're not talking about eclipses. We have a solstice. So winter solstice is here. So that energy I feel like could be very impactful, very um, strong for the divine feminine. Of course, everyone experiences winter solstice, but I feel like there's some type of um, almost like a reward. It's like an alignment. It's like something has happened for divine feminine. I feel like for one, you could have been feeling tested recently. And it's not really recently. I feel like it's been going on for a moment, but it feels like there was a buildup or like a peak recently. And I don't feel like anyone, again, we're doing collective energies. So I feel like for the most part, all of us forged through. We were persistent. We didn't give up. We pushed through. We persevered. That's the word. So I do feel that when the winter solstice comes at the end of December, we are going to experience some type of, I almost said reprieve. And it is because the December astrology it's thick. You know what I mean? It's thick, it's heavy, it's a lot of conclusions and wrap them up type of energy. Remember, we're experiencing this 9 year, this 2025 9 year. So it's this energy of everything is coming to an end. And that can definitely feel heavy in the month of December. But I feel like for Divine Feminine, who again doing your work, right? Whether it's shadow work, spiritual work, purposeful work, it doesn't matter. But it's like for those of us that are in that alignment, around the solstice energy. That's why I picked this particular energy to do the free readings with tonight, because around this particular energy, I feel like for those of you again that have been doing the work, and here's the thing, I feel like a lot of times people that question when I say you're doing the work, they're like, Rosa, what does that mean? Am I doing the work? Am I doing enough work? All right, here's an example. You know how there's moms out there that are like, man, I don't know if I'm a good mom. I don't know if I'm doing this good enough. I don't know if I need to do more. I don't know if I should be tougher, stronger, softer, wiser. Like that. Those moms out there, those are usually the best moms, right? Because they're so worried about whether they're doing a good job that they do extra, they do more, right? The ones that you see that are like, oh, I got this, everything's great. My kids do this, and this, and I have them in this sport and that sport, and I'm here and I'm there, and I do this. Like, those are usually not the better parents, right? You guys know what I'm saying? I feel like that energy is when you're questioning if you're doing the work, when you're questioning, like, am I healing? When you're questioning the slowness of the journey, when you're questioning and experiencing the self-doubt, that's when you have to tell yourself not only are you doing the work, but most don't, right? And you're doing it better than you're giving yourself credit for, right? So I feel like for those of you, again, that have been doing the work, the spiritual work, the purposeful work, the healing work, whatever it is for you, the solstice time is going to be a time of reward, abundance, benefits, opportunities, doors that previously were wouldn't open or were challenging now open. And maybe could be, like I'm hearing, open again. So maybe could even be like a second opportunity for some of us, something that presented itself before, but we made a different choice or we took a different route, right? So keep an eye on that. Divine timing, welcome. So yeah, keep an eye on that, at the end of the month with that solstice. And if you guys get a free reading tonight, I definitely recommend the 3 card solstice reading. There it is, right there, as I was saying. All right, let's look at the bridging energy. Okay, so number 45, part of fortune increase comes out for the masculine. Again, could be some type of alignment, some type of abundance coming in, but I think it's more about their focus. The divine masculine is very focused on making something a success. It's almost a synergy of don't shoot the messenger. Hi Vanessa. Vanessa's like, screw Facebook. It's too quiet over there. But it's almost this energy for divine masculine of I gotta prove myself. That's what I'm getting. I gotta prove myself. And for the divine feminine, it's more I have proved myself. I have been doing the work. I have been healing. It may be slow. It may not look pretty, but it's still happening, right? Definitely could be like reward type of energy on both sides. All right, 2 cards come out for the bridging energy. I have 5th house creativity. My 5th house is Scorpio. Yay, Erica, Facebook, welcome, Erica. So Scorpio, 5th house. 5th house is talking to you about your romance, the things that bring you joy, your creativity. It's also the house of children. And that's another thing. When I say like joy, it's a pure joy, innocent joy, true joy, right? That's what 5th house represents. And then Chiron is here as well, number 8, and it's the card of healing. Chiron represents healing. Divine timing says slow and not pretty. So true. Same. I feel like, I'm getting some grace. It's just slow too, right? All right, so bridging energy, I feel like the current spiritual lesson is clearly something to do with our healing, the work that we've been doing, and how that is impacting our 5th house, our creativity, our joy, our romance, our happiness, right? All right. So the numbers are sticking out to me, so I'm just going to read them. 45, 29, 8, and 43. I'm not going to go too deep with the collective reading tonight because we do have the Twin Flame December energy reading this Sunday, the 30th. And I did already get that posted, guys. So if you see it, you can hit that notify me button. It'll give you a little alert when we go live. We haven't been live in a month, y'all. I mean, we have, but not with like our regularly scheduled program, right? I did have to take the month off. I did have to make several appointments, which I attended and went to and got good news. I think I said good reviews at the beginning. But good news, all across the board, all the things were well, and I'm definitely very grateful for the time off. I missed you guys so much. I missed talking about the astrology so much. So super grateful to be back. Thursday, I will be reading for all 12 signs for the first week of December. And like I said, Sunday the 30th, we'll read for the collective energy for the month of December. All right. Guidance for divine masculine and divine feminine. The compassion card comes out. You demonstrate the language of the heart by actively sharing and living love. Loyalty comes out. How many of you guys have heard this word today? I feel like I've heard the word loyalty 100 times today. Your reliability demonstrates your loving sense of devotion and consistency of being. And last one is acceptance. You're ready to release control of situations or people and lovingly embrace the rhythm of life. So it definitely feels like for the collective, this energy, and again, I'm live streaming at November 25th, 2025. This energy is very much about surrendering, awakening, understanding, clarity, finding purpose, getting into alignment, doing the work, right? And then the outcome or like the aftermath of that situation. And I just want to say, I feel like this is the first time that the collective feels so strongly willing and eager to work together. And I mean, it definitely could have something to do um, with what we're experiencing, what we're all experiencing all over the planet. Like it doesn't even matter, if you're in New Zealand, it doesn't matter if you're in Ohio, it doesn't matter if you're, in California, it just doesn't matter. We're all experiencing whatever country, whatever, everywhere. We're all experiencing the same things. Corruption is like I can't bring myself to talk about it. But I hear all the time that I'm supposed to. Like I'm supposed to share my thoughts or like, what side, I'm on. I'm not on any side. I don't feel like I just, the side of good and decent and, human, right? Um, but and I feel like I don't really have to talk about it as much as maybe other creators because like I'm here following a really specific purpose. So if you're here with me and you're joining me in these live streams, then you're probably following a pretty specific purpose as well. You're probably having your own awakening and you're trying to learn how to navigate the journey yourself, right? And I feel like for the most part, there's no need for us to talk about how bad it is. Does that make sense? It's like we understand. And I think the fact that we understand has us all in this energy of surrender and alignment. And what happens when we all come into the energy of surrender and alignment is we all begin to follow our purpose, which is literally just to heal ourselves and show people what unconditional love is by example, by the way we love ourselves, right? By the way we heal and take care of ourselves. So the fact that everything has gotten so challenging has kind of made everyone really focus on the work. Does that make sense? All right, so that's what I got for the collective. Where Sherry is at work tonight. She's hungry. I had to, y'all. I had a big day. I went out. I did some bargain shopping today, and I hope that collective was helpful, guys. Um, I found some good deals, so that was really nice. Like I definitely found some good deals, but it was cold and rainy all day, and I was just like, oh, I don't know. I feel like I moved through it too fast, but I mean, it is what it is, right? So let's talk about a couple of things. We do have some exciting stuff happening in December. I have two um, contest giveaways type of thing, right? Like there's one of them on the screen there. So anyone who does energy exchange between today and December 22nd, I'm going to put everybody's name in a drawing and I'm going to give away a free personal reading. So you don't have to get your reading, live on the big screen, right? With everybody watching, you can get a private personal reading. I think I'm going to do that monthly, right? Like when that whole idea, like anyone who exchanges energy during the lives, like every month we pick a winner out of those people, and that person gets a personal private reading. I think that sounds like a monthly fun thing to do. Another thing the moderator ladies helped me come up with is 2026 merch designs. So I'm understanding my channelings correctly in my downloads, um, PLR merch will, 2026 merch will come out in April on the Aries new moon, which I believe is April 15th. I do already have most of that merch ready to go, so that's why I was a little surprised that Spirit is pushing it back so far. I guess not really because, we're celebrating the end of 2025 and, in December, but we all know that it's an Aries new moon that brings that new cycle around, right? So that is when all the new merch is going to come out. So what we decided, the mod ladies helped me come up with is, you know, um, help me create a design. It doesn't have to be like a design like you have to draw something. We have a lot of T-shirts and sweaters and hoodies and stuff with like funny sayings and catchy phrases. So if you come up with one, you can send me an email. We will have a drawing, and I will pick the winner, the one I think is, I don't know, the funniest or the best or whatever. Maybe I'll have the moderator ladies help me choose the winner as well. But that'll be so whoever wins, I will choose their design and we'll make merch with that design for my 2026 line. So super excited about that. Let me see what else. Divine Time says it's about to get cold down here. It already got cold, and it's weird kind of cold because it's like a wet cold. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't know. It's not super cold. The weather. It was 60 degrees today, so it's not so bad. But I feel like I don't know. It was wet and gloomy and Uh, I didn't like it. I was out trying to bargain shop. Again, I did find some good deals, so I wasn't super sad today. But the rain was not helpful. What I will say is I came home a little later than I had intended, and I haven't got my new glasses yet. They should be here like any day now, and I'm getting a little impatient. But um, I like to get home before it gets dark because it's hard for me to see without my glasses when it's dark, right? And I was a little worried about it when I was leaving where I was at because I thought like, oh, it's dark out here. It was raining, and I was like, it's gonna be dark by the time I get home, which I've done. It's not a big deal. I just drive slow. It's a back road. I'll be fine. But today when I left, I noticed that like as soon as I got on the road that takes me home, the clouds parted, the rain completely stopped. Like my window wipers made that squeaky noise, like when your wipers are on, but there's no rain. You know what I'm talking about? And the sunshine, and I was able to see all the way home. So I thought, man, that was pretty cool, right? So not too bad. It parted just long enough for me to get my butt home. Jenna said it's raining. Already cold here. Mississippi coast. Dang, why did I think you were so far away, Divine Time? That's a scary river. I gotta cross every time I go to sisters. Okay, Erica, I'll be here. I'm fixing to grab a pen and paper because I totally didn't. I know. Talk about not being prepared for the all right, and let's start a little list. Who's gonna do the 3 card solstice reading? Mhm. Since we have some great food here. I'm fixing to, I mean, I haven't planned it just yet. I'm just getting, spiritual direction. So I have a feeling that I have a trip coming up. It might not be until February, um, but I just think it's interesting because it's very much on the way. I was like, I didn't realize you were so close. Okay. All right, I see divine timing. Are we doing the three cards? I recommend everyone do the three cards. Vanessa. And yes, Jenna. Okay, so let me know, divine timing and Vanessa. Are we doing the solstice reading? Jenna wants to do the solstice reading. I'm just gonna put a 3 next to your name, and that way I know. Let's go over the solstice. All right, so the first card I'm looking at, the darkness. What lesson has the darkness, which is your past challenges, shadows, or inner reflection, taught you this year? Then the second card is the spark. What new light, so dream, desire, or intention is ready to be born within you? And the third card is the light ahead, a little bit past, present, future. You guys catch it? So, how can you best support your personal growth and expansion in this coming season? Okay. Um, I pulled out Triple Goddess Tarot. I also want to mention that we are offering the 2026 forecast reading. Guys, that's going to be a $60 reading on my website. It's not posted yet, so we're the first ones to get a chance to get that 2026 forecast. Now that one we pull 13 cards right away because otherwise I'll mess it up. But one card for each month, and then a guidance card. All right, so I'm going to start with divine timing. I see it, solstice reading. How's the sound? I never asked. Hope it's okay. I didn't get any alerts or anything. I never know. There's two different settings, and I never know like which one is the right one. All right, divine timing. First card, the darkness. So, what lesson, which is your past challenges, shadows, or inner reflection, taught you this year? Hanged Man comes out, major arcana right away. Pisces energy, the Hanged Man. Um, oh, nice. This is overthinking. Thank you for the audio check. This is, you have the lesson that you learned in the last, I mean, I want to say 6 months, but it could have been the year from last winter solstice. Um, you've learned to move from the head space to the heart space. So, in other words, when you catch yourself overthinking, you will redirect your energy to more of your feelings. You also may have started your shadow work. Here's the thing, I got a little bit of a channel about shadow work. You guys know I've been making all those shadow journals, and several of you guys have gotten the shadow journals. But Spirit, a little birdie, told me something recently. And I was no different. So don't let me sound like better than thou or anything like that. I thought it was me and I was getting in trouble, but then I heard it's all of us. It's all of us. We are not. Many of us have not even started shadow work. We just talk about it. um, and I feel like that was me for a really long time. And then many of us have started it, but it was more profound than we expected, so we backed off. If you're like me, I will work. I will do some shadow work, um, and then I hit a spot where I'm like, whoa, that's too much. I'm not ready for that, and then I back off for days, if not weeks. And I thought that's what was happening. I thought I was getting in trouble for not doing my work. And then I learned that this is very collective. It's very collective. We've all learned what shadow work is. We know the importance of it. We understand that it's part of our journey, part of the healing process. We see and understand the benefits, but when it comes to actually taking a pen and paper and sitting down with our thoughts, that's too much. Like, you know what I mean? So we've started the process. Pat yourselves on the back for that. Like Spirit's telling you being too mean about it. And that's possible. My Aries is very harsh. But so pat yourselves on the back. We've started shadow work. We learned what it is. We learned what it means. We've started the process. But we need to really begin to see not only the importance of it when it comes to our healing journey, but the importance of it when it comes to being able to move forward in our journey and not feeling stagnant or stuck or like we're repeating cycles, right? So keep that in mind. Right. So moving from the head space to the heart space, uh, more shadow work, more healing yourself. Probably another thing I was going to say is you probably are like maybe you struggled with talking down to yourself or like not being very positive to yourself when you're like not being your best cheerleader, right? Like being too hard on yourself. And you probably have lightened that energy. If you can move from the head space to the heart space, you've started to realize how much that actually hurts, right? And it's not beneficial in any way, right? So you started speaking more positive to yourself as well. All right, the spark. What new light? So your dreams, desires, or intention is ready to be born right now. Ooh, flew across my whole bedroom. Have mercy. Another major arcana. It's the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune and Triple Goddess Tarot, I mean, it is about good luck. It is about things bending in your favor. You could feel like here recently you've experienced some good luck. Like something could have happened and you're like, oh, that doesn't normally happen to me. How cool is that? Um, you could be getting more of those as well. Like you could feel like, again, like you went a long period where maybe you could feel like you weren't very lucky, you didn't win a bunch of stuff like this. And it's like now all of a sudden you're starting to feel that luck starting to roll in. This is the present energy card. So I do feel that, and it could be sparking something in you as well, because you start to feel better about yourself. You start to feel good about how things are or where things are. And that definitely could help you like with desire and intention. But I think it's the magic because in Triple Goddess Tarot, the Wheel of Fortune card shows this little fairy like flying around. It's almost like a butterfly, but it's a little fairy with wings, like Tinkerbell on the movie. You know what I'm talking about? But the point of her being on this card is supposed to represent uh, magic, um, miracle, the unexpected, the thing you thought you would never get or it would never happen to you or something like that. So there's something that's about to be born and you could feel it again, like little things could have been happening to build up to it, that I feel you at one point with that Pisces energy, with that Hanged Man energy, at one point you were probably like, this is never going to happen for me. And you've turned that around. You've got out of the headspace of how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and you've went into your feelings about it. And you know, if you, when you're in your feelings about it, you have two options. You're either sad or delulu, right? So you can be sad about it and you're not going to manifest anything different, just the same whatever, right? Or you start to get a little delulu, right? A little lulu lala, a little out there. And people are like, oh my God, I can't believe she just speaks so highly of herself. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Sure do. You know what I mean? And the moment you start doing that, then you start to bring in more miracles, positivity, more, those types of energy. And I feel like that could be what you're experiencing like literally right now. All right, let's look at the light ahead. So, how can you best support your personal growth and expansion? How can you keep doing this, right? Keep up the momentum. Five of Cups came out. Woo! It came out in reverse. Five of Cups is one of the hardest cards to read. Not because its definition is confusing, but because the meaning is so intense, deep. It always expresses some type of loss or despair. So for you, all of this energy could have been that you lost something that you thought was rightfully yours, or you feel like someone took something from you that should have been yours, and you stayed stuck in the headspace about that for however long until you recently found this new spark, which means to me, again, shadow work, healing, like having to do the work because you had to literally take that ball of energy and move it from your headspace where you were overthinking, talking down to yourself, that type of energy, and moving it into your heart space where you're the Lulu Lala and you're starting to manifest a more positive um, environment, more positive outcomes, right? So with Five of Cups coming out as the light ahead in reverse, of course, it tells me that you've alchemized, you've processed, you lost something that had great meaning, maybe could have made you feel. I heard the word rejected, but I don't know what that means or why that implies. Um, but I was thinking like sadness, despair, something ripped away type of energy. But with the Five of Cups, the whole purpose of the card is that you stop focusing on the loss and you focus. There's always three cups that are spilt, and then there's those two cups that are upright, right? So it's like people always focus on the three cups that are spilt, and they don't look at the two cups that are still there, that are still upright. So, in other words, you experience some type of loss, but you still have something and you still have to take care of that thing that you have, whatever it is. For most of us, it's the lesson learned. It's the strength and wisdom and knowledge and clarity that we gained in that lesson. That's normally what we alchemize, right? So I feel like it's very possible that that's what you're doing at this time. So I'm just saying, if that's the case, if all of this is ringing true, I haven't read the chat because I don't want to get in trouble. Spirit will yell at me. Um, but it's like if that's the case and all of this is ringing true to you, then the collective reading I did earlier, where I pulled that it was eclipse energy, but I told you guys there's no eclipses this month. We won't deal with eclipses until late March. But it's like that feminine energy of coming into alignment and receiving a reward. Does that make sense? All right. I hope that was helpful. All right, Vanessa. I love it. Thank you for the confirmation. Oh my God, do I overthink everything? It has been brought to my attention a lot lately. I'm getting so much better. Same. I'm getting better too. Miracles have definitely been happening in my life. I'm so grateful. Me too. Me too. And but it's like I'm seeing them. I'm super grateful. But I still am working on. How many of you do this thing where, I mean, I hate to say it, but it's a lack of faith, right? But it's like where good things are happening and you're just like waiting for the rock to fall out of the sky. You know what I'm saying? Like, you tried to do something, you know, 1,000 different ways. It didn't work before. Finally, something starts to work, and you're like, but wait a minute. Why is it working? Wait a minute. Am I missing something? Wait a minute. What's going to happen next? Wait a minute. How long is it going to work for? You know what I'm saying? How many, does anybody else do that? Is that just me? I feel like we all probably collectively do that. I don't want to say often. I feel like we're getting better about it for sure. But um, yeah. I'm usually always waiting for something to happen. Yes, same, same. Again, we're getting better about it as our faith grows, right? As our faith grows, it will get better. We'll get stronger. We'll do it less and less. We're definitely on the same page. I love it. All right, Vanessa is next. Vanessa, say hi to me in the chat wherever you are. Facebook, YouTube. I think you came over to YouTube because it was so quiet over there on Facebook. I'm just now remembering to go check on Twitch. One of these days, y'all, I'm gonna get rich and famous, and I will hire people, and we'll have a whole team that works over on Twitch. We'll have a whole team that works over on TikTok. We'll have a whole team that, you know what I'm saying. But when it's just me and my mod lady, it's a challenging thing we do over here. All right, there's Vanessa. All right, three card solstice reading. We get it done though. I just want to say we get it done one way or another. All right, first card comes out right away, Vanessa. It's going to be the Four of Wands. It came out in reverse. It's not a good card to see in reverse. I'm looking to see if there's any others. Of course, there's not, and it just kind of flipped out that way. So the darkness, what lesson has the darkness, which is your past challenges, your shadows, or in reflection, taught you this past year? I gotta take a drink of my tea. Okay, so Four of Wands is firm foundation, financial security. It is the 1111 card, but in reverse. You could feel like everything's upside down. Um, I'm getting a little bit of a message. So you could feel like you're grieving something that you had like expected. That's not right. Like maybe you thought life was going to be one way and now it's a different way. So it's like you're grieving the life that you thought was going to be that way, right? I don't think grieving is a good word because I don't really see you as being sad about it. Maybe it's more of acceptance. Like you're coming to acceptance. Like you thought life was going to be this way. And this could be anything. Four of Wands, I'm thinking like it could be finances, but it's also 1111. So it could be like hopes, dreams, wishes. But it's like, let's say you had this job, you went to school, just an example. Let's say you went to school to be a nurse and you put, 6 years into school, college, whatever, and you become a nurse and then something happens and you can't be a nurse anymore. Now you have to go find some other job. Now you have to do something else. And let's say that something else is I don't know, teach preschool kids, right? So you went to college your whole 6 years of whatever to be a nurse. Now you find yourself like teaching preschool kids, and you're like, what happened to my life? How did I get here? Why is this like this? what your darkness card, what your lesson that you've learned over the last year is definitely this energy of like seeing the beauty of the situation, understanding why something had to happen a certain way. I'm also hearing that message unanswered prayers. Like maybe you prayed for something, you're like, man, I want this, I want this, I want this, and then you didn't get this. And now something better has happened, or something had happened that makes you feel like you were saved from something, like unanswered prayers. Like, I'm glad that didn't work that way because now it could be so much worse, right? Something like that. All right, the spark. So, what new light? This is going to be your dreams, desires, or intention is ready to be born. You have the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is the get to work card. You've been holding something close to your chest, close to your heart. It's some type of work. I almost said spiritual work. It may be spiritual work. It's something you've invested a lot of time and energy into, but you haven't done anything with it. You just held on to whatever it was. Maybe you didn't tell anyone, which I'm learning is not that bad. Like, sometimes we don't have to tell everybody everything we're doing, right? But I feel like it's something more than that. It was like maybe you started to work on something and then you didn't believe in it, or you didn't think it would like grow or foster or turn into any type of abundance, so you just didn't do anything with it. And I feel like as you went through those reflections of, letting go whatever it is that you thought was going to happen, whatever the expectation was, that's why the Four of Wands in reverse. That's why that's the better thing. You have something that's valuable that you've been working on, that you've invested in, that has given you great courage because it's a knight of pentacles. So it's given you great courage, and you've just been kind of building it to some type of peak. And I feel like you're at the peak, and now you have to take an action. You actually have to do something with that pentacle, whatever it is that you built or invested or put time in or worked on. And I just want to say, Vanessa, have mercy. I feel like this one's gonna be like, she's gonna be like, no, Rosa. Okay. And I'm using the Triple Goddess Tarot. The Knight of Pentacles shows this man on this horse riding in the snow. You can tell he's been on quite a journey. He looks tired, exhausted. But again, it's this energy of I haven't actually planted the seed yet. I haven't actually turned it into something. I have an idea, but I haven't made it something yet. This could be, we're looking at your energy. I'm looking at, what have you learned since the solstice? What rewards will you be receiving or aligning to? But I mean, it's definitely giving me this energy of Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, someone returning with like their head between their tail type of energy, that type of thing. Maybe with like head down, and maybe before they, head up in the clouds, and maybe a little delusional themselves, but it's like now something has humbled this person. So I just remember your message from earlier, so keep that in mind. All right, card 3. Let's look at the light ahead. How can you best support your growth and expansion in the coming season? So the King of Swords comes out. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. King of Swords is, well, it's about truth and authenticity. It's definitely about speaking your truth and being authentic, but it's also about like a mentorship, like teaching someone how to do something, someone that's younger or not as experienced. There's this energy of people like looking up to you or wanting to know what you know. So, how can you best support your growth, which is being courageous enough to take the action on the thing that you've invested in? Is going to be to talk about it, right? King of Swords, to talk about it. That's the action that the King of Swords does. Communicates, talks, shares truths, but in a way where people are looking up to you. So, in other words, you have something, probably experience, expertise in spiritual awakening and the process that you went through. And it's very possible that this winter solstice, as you start to mentor or help others just by speaking your own truth, that's how you come into your alignment, your purpose, your abundance, your reward. All right, I'm going to leave it right there. I hope that was helpful. How was it? Ring true. The middle card threw me off. I know that Knight of Pentacles. It's like I see somebody coming, with their head tucked between their tail. It's more about you and what you've invested in. I said, oh God. I mean, do you feel like there's something that you've put all your eggs into? Like something you've invested in, that you've been putting time and effort into, that maybe you didn't think would turn into something or wouldn't have a value? And now, I mean, it's present and future energy. So now you would already start to see where that thing could have value, worth. It could make something. That's kind of what I picked up. I mean, other than the person with their head and whatever. All right, Jenna. Jenna's last one, I believe. Not too bad for our first live back in a month, right? I was a little nervous when I got started. I feel like I'm always nervous when we get started. So I had to go make my chamomile. Like once I got through the transit, so I feel like I was okay. What did you guys think about the shadow prompts? Did you guys like those? Yay or nay? There's Did Diana say yes? I'll double check. Let me know. I know she's making beef stew. I feel like I can smell it. She's always telling me some amazing thing that she's eating and making for dinner. Sweet. I see it. I see it. I didn't see Sandra tonight. All right. Jenna, and then we'll close it out with Diana's. She said time into overthinking. That's what you think you put it all into? No way. There's another answer. Okay, then my next question is, if you think it's time into overthinking, do you feel like you learned from it and you're like, I'm not going to overthink it anymore? It didn't get me anywhere. It didn't help me. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I guess that could be a thing. Like you could have be like, I've invested too much time worrying about this, right? Yes, because I was washing dishes. How did the stew turn out? I thought about nothing else since you told me. I was telling her it's so cold and rainy. Like stew would have been perfect tonight. All right, Jenna, three cards. All right, Jenna, card number one, the darkness. What lesson has the darkness, your past challenges, shadows, or inner reflection taught you this year? The Queen of Pentacles comes out. Jenna, you've learned how to become your own resource. This could be like being used to ask others for help and then having to start to do things on your own. And I don't think it was like asking others like in a way of like taking from others. I think it was a comfort zone type of energy, like because with the Queen of Pentacles in the Triple Goddess Tarot, she's journaling. She's writing in her journal. So it's this energy like you had to work through something. You had to do some self reflection, some shadow work. And it's going to be like most likely what I'm picking up here is like, let's say, for example, a parent, and there's a parent that has always done something for you. And then, like, one day in this past year, you were like, you know what? I'm going to start doing this thing that I thought I couldn't do on my own. I'm going to start doing it for myself. And I don't need you to do it for me anymore. It's something like that. It's like you gained the confidence to do something on your own. All right, card number two, the spark. What new light, so dream, desire, or intention is ready to come in? We have 10 of Wands coming out. Ooh, big yawn. It could just be that you're ready to let shit go. 10 of Wands is you have all these burdens. You're tired. You're exhausted. You feel like you uh, just don't have anything left. That's 10 of Wands. So coming out for the spark, I mean, that could have happened. It could have went to the point where you were forced to take action. or forced to come into realignment, where something just got so intense you had no choice but to let it go. It's almost like you knew if you didn't let this thing go that it could take more from you, whether that's energy or, your own peace or happiness, whatever it is. It's like you recognize that it was siphoning from you, so you were able to release it. But there's more here, because the spark, the intention you're setting to the universe is like, I'm not going to stress out. I'm going to be open to whatever, is being sent my way. I'm going to be open to receive. I know that the universe has my back. I know that the things that I want in this life will come to me. And you're just, it's almost like you're in that, Lulu Lala, but it's like you're in alignment with it, because you released whatever those burdens were. You released whatever was weighing down on your shoulders. That could have something to do with that first card of becoming your own resource. Like, it could have weighed you down. Energy exchange is a real thing, you guys. A real, real thing. I used to come out here and do free readings for hours and hours and hours, and I just can't. I just can't do that anymore. Um, but you could have felt like you were off balance because of some type of energy exchange. Like, someone kept doing something for you. And like I said, you finally were like, you know what? I can do this for myself and I'm good at it. Right? I feel like the reason you did it before is probably going to be like comfort zone, lack of confidence, that type of thing. So the spark is that if you're able to release all your burdens, remember, triple goddess tarot, all the wands are just scattered all around her. The idea is that you're releasing your burdens to spirit. Where they say you're supposed to put it at his feet, right? You're supposed to understand that it's not your weight to carry. You're supposed to have faith that spirit will do whatever it is, right? So with this energy being in this spark, this card number 2 placement, it's very much giving, like, now that you've learned to do this, now that you're capable of doing this, 'cause I feel like so many people aren't capable of letting go in general altogether. But it's like, now that you've learned how to do this, just letting this go or whatever it is, then it's like this is going to align you. She's released all the wands. She's not carrying any burdens. She's made space. And right now, this Gemini full moon that's coming in December with the solstice. I mean, I guess it's the new moon that comes in, but you know what I mean. It's the lunation for this period is very much a feeling of releasing what's maybe served you before, but no longer serving you, so that you can make room for all the new stuff that's coming in, right? Ooh, I looked at the chat. I let go big time, even just today. Love that. Big confirmation. I'm not supposed to be looking though, so let's keep going. All right, third card, the light ahead. How can you best support your personal growth and expansion in the coming season? Okay, so three cards came out. One of them was the Magician, the other one was the Hanged Man, the other one was Three of Wands. I'm going to take the Magician. Hanged Man is getting out of your headspace and into your heart space, and Three of Wands is taking physical action towards what it is that you actually want. The Magician wraps all of that energy up all together, so let's talk about it. The Magician and Triple Goddess Tarot shows this lady. She's surrounded by all these books, all these divination tools. She has absorbed the information. She has all the knowledge that she needs to be able to create what it is that she wants. So, how you can best support your growth, which is releasing of those burdens and being able to let go and being able to give it to spirit, is working on your own craft, working on your own manifestations, working on as above, so below, right? She says the magician is my card. I love it. All right, I'm going to leave it right there. I hope that was helpful. All right, now we're at the last one, right? Diana, if you can, say hi to me down there in the chat. What do you guys think about the 3 card solstice reading? It's a good one, right? I'll keep the uh, year ahead forecast. I'll keep that for a little while. You guys can get another chance at it. Gratitude. Thank you, Jenna. I haven't put it over on my website yet. I probably won't until mid-December. I'm thinking mid-December. There she is. More big yawns. All right, the Fool comes out. Again, Triple Goddess Tarot. In Triple Goddess Tarot, there's 2 Fool cards. There's the one that looks like she's wearing a big t-shirt and she's barefoot and she's just jumping off the cliff. She has all faith and she's like, forget it, whatever I need, Spirit will get it for me. The second Fool card, which is the one that you have, is the one where she's fully dressed. Leather pants, boots, backpack. She has absolutely everything she needs. Nothing is going to catch her off guard. The lesson that you probably learned in this past year and the winter solstice reward that I feel you'll receive is the fact that you realize, learn, Trevor, that you have all the knowledge, all the wisdom, all the ingredients to take some type of leap of faith. In other words, a year ago, about this time, you probably started thinking about something that required a leap of faith. And at first, you were probably hesitant. At first, you were probably like that other Fool card in Triple Goddess Tarot, where she's like in the big t shirt, barefoot, and isn't prepared. And you could have felt like, I'm not prepared. And don't shoot the messenger, could have been struggling with your faith and knowing that Spirit had your back regardless of what happened. So in this last year, your faith has grown. It's become stronger. I imagine your communication with Spirit has become stronger, which means your connection with Spirit, your relationship with Spirit, all of these energies feel stronger to me. And you're ready. You're ready to take some big leap. I don't really know exactly what it's for. The picture shows her and her little dog. I don't know what the leap is, but whatever it was a year ago that you were like, I don't want to deal with that. I'm not ready for that. Big fear type of thing. It's like now, whatever, maybe you've already faced it. Maybe it's already happened. It wasn't as bad as we thought, right? It could definitely be something like that. But if you haven't yet, you're ready. You feel ready. You're not questioning yourself anymore. You're not second guessing Spirit having your back anymore. Your faith has grown, so you feel ready. All right, let's pull the second card, the Spark. So, what new light, your dreams, desires, or intention is ready to be born again? The Ten of Wands. It's a little bit different for you. Page of Cups is on the bottom. Page of Cups is an energy of like, this is a slippery situation. It's not cut and dry, right? Okay, so for as Jenna, the Ten of Wands represented being able to let go. I mean, yours is let go too. For Jenna, it was more of like being able to let go of outcomes or beliefs. Like, I thought it was going to be this way and now it's this way instead. For you, this is more of delegation. This is more of being able to release control. You probably had something that was like there's a physicalness to it. It's like you feel better if you can hold it in your hand type of energy. But something has happened that maybe you can't see yet. It's not in the physical. You can't really hold it in your hand yet. You've released the need to control it. You release a need to control how. Ooh, that's it. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, you release the need to control how something will be done, accomplished, achieved, something like that. Before, you were probably stuck in the, I'm not ready. I don't know how. I don't know how to make it happen or how it's going to happen. And that's the part you've released. That's beautiful. I wish I could do that. I feel like I'm that person. Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, D, E. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right. How can you best support your personal growth and expansion? All right. So the Queen of Swords comes out. Queen of Swords. I'm using Triple Goddess Tarot. It shows her throwing her mask to the ground. She's no longer covering her emotions. She's no longer covering up what she wants to say. From now on, she's just going to say it. Right? It's that type of energy. So let's say this is about like maybe that you're fixing to like start a new path or a new journey or have new experiences, new adventures in some area of your life. And maybe like a year ago, you were like, I'm not ready. I don't know what I'm doing. There's no way. I don't know how I'll be able to maintain, right? Or do all the things. Maybe you spoke down about it, low vibrational. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do. This isn't for me. This isn't working for me. I can't work with this. I don't know. It's giving that type of vibe. So, the best way that you can support being able to let go of the control of the outcome of what it is that you're trying to bring in, or the hows, or the whats, or the whens, is going to be by changing the way you speak to yourself. Maybe it's about getting more lulu lala. Maybe it's more speaking your truth and how you feel about things. It could even be showing how you feel about things because she's ripped the mask off and thrown it to the ground. I think that this Queen of Swords is about authenticity. It's like you're no longer scared to tell people how you feel. That's how you're going to be able to take this leap of faith. That's how you're going to be able to let go of the, not necessarily the outcome, because that's never really what we're letting go of. The outcome always comes either what we wanted or better. But you're letting go of the how is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Spirit could have showed you in the last year that you're guided, that you have a whole team of support up there in the fifth dimension, right? And they're all showing you the way with all the signs and synchronicities that you see every day. But that could have given you some type of confirmation or clarity enough to throw the mask off and stop hiding how you feel about something, and enough to start speaking truth, start speaking what it is that you want instead of talking about the things you don't want, right? All right, I'm going to leave it there. I hope that was helpful. It sounds like step into power energy. Definitely, very much. When you have full faith like that and you release the spirit, I feel like spirit doesn't show us. our full potential, or doesn't give us like all our abilities and all this stuff at one time, because I feel like we wouldn't have the cojones, you know what I'm saying, to carry that much. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know. It's like the moment your faith, she says, my faith is growing, is so true. Yes. The moment you surrender, get into alignment, and it's funny because you think when you're surrendering that you're weak, or like, I'm giving up. I just don't know how it's gonna happen, so I just give up. God, it's up to you, figure, and that shows like some type of, like, I'm not strong enough type of feeling. But that's actually the complete opposite of that. It takes great strength to release and surrender and have faith. And when we do that, the power that is exchanged in return for that surrender and acceptance is immense. Immense. I mean, that's how I created PLR. Right? All right. I hope it was helpful. All right, guys. So we're back on schedule. I hope the December transits were helpful. Um, Go back, check them out again if you need to. Circle those dates on your calendar so it doesn't bring you any type of shock or surprise, and you're ready to work with those energies. Check out those shadow prompt questions. I hope that helps you also be able to understand the purpose of the transit and what it is that you're doing with the energy, right? And for those of you doing your shadow work, congratulations. I hope that this new formula of mine, when we talk about the astrology, helps us stay consistent and dedicated to our path, right? Um, Collective reading, I feel like a lot of union energy. We're all experiencing a lot of union energy for the most part. It is inner union. I have spoken to a few people that are experiencing a 3D union at this time, which I'm finding absolutely beautiful. Not myself, right? So, still watching from afar from other people, and their experiences. Um, it's getting heavier, but we're doing the work, so it's getting easier. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. All right, guys. Like I said, pat yourselves on the back. You're doing a great job. I'm so proud of all of us, and keep up the shadow work as consistently as possible. Thursday night, I will be back with all 12 signs. Guys, I know that one is a long one. I really would love for everyone to join me and hang out with me. It definitely can be challenging sometimes to get through them. Um, but I feel like that's really where we get the most individual personalization of the astrology. It's where we get the most guidance for our own personal journey, right? And this is all 12 signs. I never say look for your sun, moon, or rising. I tell you bring your birth charts and those readings with each area of your life. That is the best way to do it. I've heard more astrologers start to say that, so that's really exciting. That's just what spirit taught me. So I feel like for the longest time I was just out here in the wind by myself. It's like it's really nice to see other astrologers start to use the same wording, right? But yeah, if you could come in and join me, that's great. If not, I will put those timestamps in the description box as always. And yeah, I'm just really, really glad to be back. I missed everyone. Don't forget, Sunday night, we'll look at the twin flame energy for the month of December. I hope everyone can catch me for that live as well. All of three, all posted, all over on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So make sure to hit those bells and notifications. And I hope to see all of you guys there. Thank you to all my moderator ladies who came in and hung out with me. I appreciate you ladies very, very much. Great first live back, right? Diana says, I'm the boss now. Absolutely. Amen. 100%. All right, y'all. I'm always sending all of you abundant love and light on your journey.